All right, let's talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide. Obviously, new regime under Kalen DeBoer is in town. A lot of good things. We've talked about a lot of moves that the Alabama Crimson Tide program has done. We're seeing the results now that spring ball has been completed. The A-Day has been accomplished. And there's been some very interesting comments made by none other than the GOAT himself, Nick Saban, about the Alabama Crimson Tide program. Let's get into this report and then we'll talk about it more in detail on the other side. This is courtesy of 24/7 Sports. What did Saban see from the current team on A-Day, his first since retiring? Saban provided some brief thoughts Thursday morning during a prayer breakfast for the city of Irondale, Alabama. I was encouraged, Saban told reporters at the Church of the Highlands, according to the Trustville Tribune. I thought the team looked well coached. That's pretty good praise coming from Nick Saban. That's a good sign. They played hard. They played with a lot of discipline. Another good sign from Nick Saban right there. I know they got a lot of young players at some positions, so their development is going to be critical to success. I think they kept pretty good continuity through this last portal, and hopefully they'll add some pieces that will help them next fall. All right, so this is obviously a ringing endorsement from the GOAT himself, Coach Nick Saban. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are. But first, Alabama fans in the comment section below, now that the NFL draft is behind us, you saw obviously a lot of former Crimson Tide players leave and go on to their professional careers. But let's go back and look at all of the Crimson Tide players that are now just been drafted. Who is the one that you're going to miss the most? Is it Kool-Aid McKinstry? Is it Terrion Arnold, right? How about Burton? I was a big fan of Burton personally myself. Give us the one Alabama Crimson Tide player who recently just got drafted that you're really, really going to miss. You thought he was a special guy, and put him in the comment section below. But, Mice, give me your thoughts on Saban's comments and just everything with the Alabama program right now.
Yeah, Nate. I mean, I think this is such class, and I think it it he didn't even have to say anything. I don't think he really had to go into the detail that he did, but I think it's because at the end of the day, and you take this for what it is. Nick Saban still cares about Alabama. It's his legacy. This is a school that he spent most of his life to. I mean, he cares about the success of this school. So if Kalen DeBoer goes out there and starts mucking it up, I think you're going to probably either not hear praise from Coach Saban because he's talking to the higher up saying, hey, we made a mistake here. We need to fix it. Or he openly could go out and just talk badly about Coach DeBoer. I don't think that's really in his bag. I don't think that's the kind of guy he is. But I don't think he comes out and openly praises him if he thinks it's going wrong. And then again, later on in the article, Coach DeBoer talks about what he thinks of Saban. Saban said, or excuse me, Coach Saban talks about what he thinks about Coach DeBoer personally. He says, I think he's done a really great job. He's a good person. He's a good man. I think he's got a good staff. So, he praises the staff that Coach DeBoer has picked as well. He thinks all of the moves are very, very smart. I really think we have to take this a little more than just face value of someone saying, hey, Coach Saban, what do you think about what's going on so far with the team? He really cares. He has vested interest. He wants this team to be successful. He has Alabama as part of his personal brand forever. So if they start to stink, people are going to be like, Coach, why'd you leave them in such a bad spot? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? So it really matters to them whether they do good or not. So the fact that he comes in and he stayed out of spring camp, and Coach DeBoer has really talked about how he is thankful that Coach Saban has kept his distance, let him get his feet on the ground, and really just done everything as gracefully and as peacefully as possible. He really appreciates what he did there. And then comes back, at the end, the culmination of spring, and gives his thoughts on what's going on. It's got to feel good for Coach DeBoer, got to feel good for Alabama fans, and I'm really encouraged by it as well. I think Alabama is on the right, trajectory as far as where they need to be. And I think the, demise, the fall of Alabama was greatly exaggerated. I think people need to watch out for this program.
Yeah, 100% agree here from my end. And when you look at what Saban's comments on, obviously Saban, he's known as an honest guy, a straight shooter, undeniably so. So when you look at what he says, you're always looking for, in situations like this anyway, what he doesn't say, right? So let's say Saban had come out and said, yeah, the team looked very exciting. Yeah, the team looked athletic, right? Yeah, the team competed, or yeah, there was a lot of things to build on. If he had said those things, that would have been those things by himself. That's all he would have said. That would have been a very bad sign, right? Because those are kind of like standard. Yeah, there's a lot of things to work on. I don't like what the coaching staff is doing. The players all over the place. This looks bad. Nick Saban is obviously known for being a very discipline oriented guy. He's all about well coaching. I mean, of course, he's got the famous rants when they're beating, Mississippi State, whatever, 56-3, and someone has a false start with a minute and a half to go in the fourth quarter and he just goes absolutely bonkers, right? And that's Nick Saban's famous for stuff like that, of course. So the fact that he louds publicly this team's discipline, he says they're well coached. That's a great sign. He would not have said that if he honestly believed they weren't. He would have come up with some other cliche to dance around the fact. So to me, that is the biggest news coming out post A Day for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Because I don't think anyone would have denied that DeBoer has the ability to recruit and build a talented team. He obviously did that before. I think no one would deny that DeBoer and his staff can put together an offensive powerhouse and have a solid defense as well. He did that before. The question was going to be, and this was sort of Alabama's secret sauce for so many years, were they going to handle the little things, right? Those little advantages that allow the Nick Saban dynasty to just roll over the rest of the SEC, even when the talent discrepancy was very minimal. And that was going to be the biggest question for DeBoer. And the fact that Saban has come out and said this, I think is a great sign because this is the first indicator we've seen that the discipline issue will not be a problem under Coach DeBoer, at least as it currently sits. And that means Alabama's biggest strength, their secret sauce, remains fully solid. They've got talent. They've got a nice young coaching staff to surround this new era of Crimson Tide football. Again, like you said, Mize, there was a lot of people who thought that the Alabama Crimson Tide was going to quickly demise as a program and fall into a mid-tier SEC program. I think what we're seeing right now at Tuscaloosa, that is not the case. I really liked, honestly, what LSU did a lot this offseason. I really liked what a lot of other programs did. Georgia's going to be really good as well. But Alabama's the reigning SEC champions, and based on what we're seeing from A-Day and spring ball, it's still going to be really hard to knock them off that perch.